My name is Somashekar, course faculty for this course. Here a external gear motor, what I have drawn here. The animation will show the high pressure oil coming from the pump and DCVs, which will rotate the shaft here by rotating the gears, and fluid is carried around the periphery. After rotating, after doing the work, it will leaves the low pressure oil which is directed to the tank. Please understand this, friends. The inlet and outlet ports, and these are the two gears, and this is a housing. Always the inlet side is a high pressure, outlet side is a low pressure.
External gear motors. It consists mainly a pair of gears of the same size and a tooth form, meshing externally and enclosed in a housing and are driven by oil pressure as shown in the figure below. Here, the figure shows here the two gears enclosed in the housing. It has two ports, inlet port and the outlet port. Inlet port carries the high pressure oil from the pump and control elements, which is used to rotate the shaft. Here, one gear is a driver gear, which is connected to the shaft. Here, we want the required torque with required speed. After rotating this, the fluid will exit from the outlet with a low pressure, which is connected to the tank. The very important thing is you will see here, friends, how the torque is generated with the high pressure fluid at the inlet, how it is. Here I have marked four important points on the figure here. You will see here these two teeth. Here you will see that these two teeth are subjected to high pressure and tend to rotate gears in the direction of arrows, as I have shown you here. Here you will see a segment here, what I have marked here, a segment of two meshing teeth tend to oppose a rotation, making net torque available a function of one tooth. Here I have marked three here. Here pressure between teeth in this segment pushes both ways and does not affect the torque as oil is carried around the periphery. And here you will see, friends, another tooth. These two teeth have only a tank line pressure opposing them. Okay, always you'll remember these are also unbalanced motors as because the inlet is high pressure, outlet is a low pressure. These external gear motor can also be used as a bidirectional by sending the fluid flow to the other side. Then they will rotate in the other direction. This is also possible in the external gear motors. Here you'll see, friends, here a cutaway view of the actual gear motor with a hydraulic symbol is shown here. This hydraulic symbol is used in the design of circuits. Please see here the triangle filled and direction is towards the center. Here this is an inlet, this is an outlet. Here also we will see in the cutaway view the two gates enclosed in the housing chamber, and this is a shaft which is rotated with the help of the fluid pressure and a flow. Please note, as I have told you, one of the gears will be connected to the output shaft driver and the other gear will be an idler gear which rotates with the driver. Here this is a driver and idler gear. The output shaft is one where we are getting the torque, and in turn it depends on the oil pressure. More oil pressure, more torque. and angular velocity depends on the flow rate of the inlet flow. If more flow rate, shaft will rotate at a higher speed. The principle is very simple. You'll see here the operations are similar to the pumps, but in the pumps what we are doing, we are sucking the fluid and we are expelling the fluid at the outlet. But in the external gear motor, we are using the pressurized fluid to rotate the shaft. After rotating, the outlet is a low pressure oil which goes to the tank. The working principle is very simple. As I have told you, oil under pressure enters on one side of the casing, that is the inlet port, and forces the gears to rotate in the directions marked. The entered oil will fill the gear teeth pockets and follows the path of least resistance, which is around the periphery of the inner side of the housing, and comes out through the outlet at a low pressure on the opposite side, and it is connected to the tank. So please note, the entered pressurized fluid rotates the output shaft and develops the torque. Flow rate and pressure of the entered fluid determines the speed and the torque of the output shaft. The torque developed is the function of hydraulic imbalance of only one tooth of one gear at a time. The other gear and teeth are hydraulically balanced. Closed tolerance between the gears and housing help in controlling the oil leakage and increases the volumetric efficiency. The volumetric displacement of a gear motor is fixed, as because the number of teeth on the gear is fixed for the particular combination. The gear motor, as discussed above, is not a balanced one with respect to the pressure loads, as because the high pressure at the inlet coupled with the low pressure at the outlet, and this produces a large side load on the shaft and bearings, and hence the efficiency will go down. Actual gear motors balance off this side load by internal passages and ports which locate identical pressure conditions 180-degree apart. Gear motors are normally limited to 137.89 bar. In US, they are mentioning PSI, pounds per square inch. Operating pressure, this is operating pressure, and the operating speed is 2400 RPM. They are available with a maximum flow capacity of 567.81 liters per minute, or in US customer unit 150 gallons per minute. The main advantages of the gear motor are its simple design, subsequent low cost, and possible to use as a bidirectional. Based on the direction of flow in and out will decides the direction of the shaft rotations. Now we'll move on to the internal gear motors. The gear motors can also be of the internal gear design, similar to your internal gear pumps. You already discussed in the previous classes the many details on the internal gear pumps. Can you please tell me in the figure what are the things I have shown here? Please note here, the inlet is connected to the high pressure side, from where the fluid will enter from the pump and control elements, and the outlet, as I have told you, connected to the low pressure fluid. Please note these two important points. Then can you please tell me what are the things are there here? As usual, two gears are here, one external teeth, another one is a internal teeth. Both axes are offset. The internal one is connected to the shaft, where we require the torque and speed. then you will see, friends, when they are located upset, to make the seal, positive seal, there is a crescent shaped divider which will separate the outlet from the inlet. This is one of the important features in the gear motors. Let us will see what are the important component. Middle one is a pinion gear which has external tooth. Then a ring gear, big one what I have shown here, it is an internal tooth. Then it is a crescent shaped divider. Then main is a whole housing. This type of gear motors can operate at a high pressures and speeds, and also has a greater displacements than the external gear motors. Here also there are two variant designs of internal gear motors are available commercially in the market. They are direct drive gerotor motors, and one more is orbiting gerotor motors. Let us will see what is this gerotor. As I have told you in the gerotor pumps, the same principles here, friends. The direct drive gerotor motor consists of a set of inner and outer gear and an output shaft connected to the inner gear, meaning inner gear is a driver. See, inner gear, what I have shown here is a, what is this? It is a external teeth. And one more, you'll see the bigger one. Here it is a same profile and size. But what you will see here, the one tooth is less here and one tooth is more here, which will makes always they will contact at the down and up. Here, what is this? I'll tell you now. Here, the inner gear has one tooth less than the outer gear. The shape of both the inner and outer gears are same, and both the gears are in contact all the times. You will see here how they are contact in all the times. And stationary, you see here kidney shaped openings are there. Stationary kidney shaped inlet and the outlet are built into the motor housing. In this case also, both the gears rotate when the pressurized fluid enters. Then please note here, both the gears are offset. This is the center of rotation of the two gears, separated by a small distance called an eccentricity. The center of the inner gear coincides with the axis of the motor shaft. Please also note here, friends, I have marked here for the inner gear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for easy understanding. Similarly, for the outer gear, I marked with the capital A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now we'll see how it will operate. Working is the pressurized fluid enters the motor through the inlet port. This is the inlet port. Since the inner gear has one tooth less than the outer gear, a pocket is formed. You will see here a pocket is formed between the two inner teeth. Please see here two inner teeth, 6 and 1, and outer socket A. Here it is a pocket is formed. The kidney shaped inlet port is so designed that once the pocket is full, the fluid is shut off with the tips of the inner gears 6 and 1. It is blocked. Seals it is. As the pair of inner and outer gears continues to rotate. A new pocket is formed between the inner teeth 6 and 5. Now you will see the 6 and 5 and the outer pocket. You will see now. Or else you will see here. The new pocket is formed. Then it will rotate to next. Meanwhile, the pocket formed between the inner teeth 6 and 1 and a outer socket A has moved around opposite the kidney shaped outlet port, steadily draining as the volume of the pocket decreases. Correct? When it will move here, the oil will be drained, discharged to the tank. During this moment, the pressurized fluid will rotate the shaft. The gradual metered volume change of the pockets during the inlet and exhaust provides a smooth, uniform fluid flow with a minimum pressure variation or ripple. Because of the extra tooth in the outer gear, the inner gear teeth move ahead of outer by one tooth per revolution. In figure C, inner tooth 4, you will see here, inner tooth 4 is seated in outer socket E, correct? On the next cycle, when it will complete, then what happens? The inner tooth 4 will sit in the outer socket F. It will go and sit here. This will continues. The next cycle, this will go and sit in the G. Like this it will do. This produces a low relative differential speed between the gears. Similar to that, I will show you one more thing. Orbiting gerotor motor. It is slightly different in the operation because in the previous one, both the gears are rotating. Now we'll see the figure shows the schematic diagram of orbiting gerotor motor. Same here you'll see. Everything is same here. But you'll see the outside one is a stationary outer gear and inside one is a rotating inner gear. But other constructional details are same, friends. Here again you will see the center of the rotor and the stator. X what I am at, locus of the point. This locus of the point X will move along with the circle. Now we'll see, I have marked here one more down. It is known as a commutator valve plate, which will shows the connection where the high pressure oil will enter and the low pressure oil will go to the tank. Here what I have marked here, high pressure in the different color and low pressure in the different color. Let us will see now. An orbiting gerotor motor has a stationary outer gear and a rotating inner gear. The inner gear is connected to the motor shaft, that is rotor. The rotor and a shaft turn in a clockwise, counterclockwise. Please note here, friends. The rotor and a shaft turn in counterclockwise direction, but the locus of point X is clockwise. This will rotate anti-clockwise. At time the locus will move in the clockwise. The commutator or a valve plate provides the passages for inlet where the pressurized fluid will enter and passages for the outlet where the fluid leaves to the tank during each motor rotation. So, an orbiting gerotor motor consists of a set of matched gears, a coupling, an output shaft, and a commutator or a valve plate. The stationary outer gear has one tooth more than the rotating inner gear, similar to previous ones. The commutator turns at the same rate as the inner gear and always provides a pressurized fluid and a passages to tank to the proper spaces between the two gears. You will see here, these are all the pressurized when they will rotate. These are all connected to the tank. Gerotor motors are similar to our gerotor pump. Here we are overcoming the crescent shape divider by providing the one tooth less for the driver compared to the bigger gear.